Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful, Anwar Iftikhar, President of Takhmeer in Pakistan. Tonight we will having a great session with the international speakers, and we have Desli Shahini from Turkey and Hristina Crenn from Macedonia. Welcome, ma'am, on this auspicious occasion, and we're here to talk about the important topic that we are facing in the society, in many states, in many countries, and in many nations. So the topic that we're going to start and we're going to discuss is women rights and multiculturalism. So again, welcome, ma'am, to both of you. I would like to start the session from Hristina Crenn. Please, ma'am, make your introduction in a brief manner, and after that, I will ask the questions. Please, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Mr. Anwar, for your invitation. Hello, everyone. My name is Hristina Crenn. I'm from Macedonia, but currently I'm living in Istanbul. I am a student of Paris 1 Panthéon Sorbonne University in France, where I pursue a Bachelor's of Law. And at the same time, I'm pursuing double major degree, Bachelor as well, at Ibn Haldun University in Turkey, where I study history and political science and international relations. I'm glad to be here with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We'd like to have a great time with you tonight. I would like to, ma'am Desli Shahini, to please and give a big introduction of yourself. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. I'm very glad that I'm part of this session, and I really wish that everyone that is inside this session will be very grateful for it. Not only that it is going to be a listening session, it's going to be even an interactive one, and for that reason I'm happy. Secondly, I want to to have a small introduction of myself. I am a doctor, I studied for general medicine. Now I'm working in the Ministry of Health as a health coordinator. And for that reason, now I'm in Tirana because we are working in COVID session and of all the pandemic situation that is happening all around. Everything that I want to say for myself, and I want to mention more, it is the fact that I have all my life been a youth activist. Youth activist means that I have done a lot of volunteering practices, and what I want all the time to say is to protect the human rights, starting from the children with disabilities, in my experience, and continuing on with people with disabilities then, and the most important one, as long as even me is a female, I have been part of the female movements in worldwide meaning, and we have worked a lot in this session, and even in these works, as long as it is needed. And after the pandemic, we have discussed that it is even more needed to discuss in how to cooperate together female with each other in order to protect our rights and even to reproduce ourselves in the best version ever of ourselves. So for that reason, I'm here, and I'm even glad that I'm here. So you can do whatever question you want, even in the sphere of the youth activism and even in the sphere of the doctor. I'm here for every question that you have.
Indeed, ma'am, it's a great pleasure that no doubt women doctors, female doctors are serving the nation a lot in every country and in every state. And I appreciate that effort you're doing in your country about this pandemic condition. Although we have discussed this session before, the role of women in COVID-19. So thank you, ma'am, again for joining the session. So moving toward the session, I would like to ask a question about women rights and multiculturalism. So, ma'am, Hristina Crenn, please elaborate this term that what is woman right or what are woman rights and how they are related to the multiculturalism. Please, ma'am.
Thank you very much for this good question of yours. In my opinion, women's rights are the rights that also exercise the majority of the participants in the societal welfare. For instance, when we say men's rights, women's rights, that emerged as a categorization based on historical evolution. What really happened in the past? Did men had more authority over women? When did the feminist movement started to emerge? How is that connected to multiculturalism? These are three factors that are interrelated, and this interdependency creates categorization. We always speak about human rights in the international declarations, conventions, and women's rights or men's rights. It is, in my opinion, more present in the doctrinal scholarship. Really, what academics argue or research about, like that is, in my opinion, something that is divided. So in the public sphere, we speak about human rights, but in the academic scholarship, we speak about women's rights and men's rights. So this categorization creates problems in the society. I think it will be a wonderful chance to discuss this.
Indeed, ma'am. It's a good thing that instead of studying the human rights, we also highlight the thing about women rights as well. So it's a very clear point that women rights are, I think, somehow precisely different from the human rights. Because, and if we see, if it is said that if you want to change your nation, if you want to change your culture, you have to empower your women. So after empowering women, I would like to ask a question from Desli Shahini. Ma'am, please elaborate what are the planning about women empowerment and how we can adopt a method that women can be empowered and women rights can be adopted in a good manner. Please, ma'am.
Firstly, I want to mention that it's not important where you are from because even the part of multiculturalism has made a big change those days. We are changing a lot and we are not defining ourselves anymore by the place that we are born, because every day we see people that move freely in all over the world in order to educate, to empower themselves, to change their lifestyle, to be in their best version of themselves. What is important in this kind of century that we live, in my opinion, is important to say that the way that we see ourselves is very, very important. What I mean by that is that every day we wake up with a goal. And this is not important if you are a woman or a man, because every human being needs to wake up with a goal. If you one day try to change your lifestyle, your way of living, you just go through it. You have million of opportunities to do it. You have even million of opportunities to see yourself in how you are going to discover yourself. Every day that I talk with women, especially in the rural places, I see that most of the people try to put pressure on women in order to kill their dreams. And this is one of the things that I want to mention in the empowering process, because the empowering process is not something that continues, or it is not something that it is only for 1 day or 2 days. It is a process that is during all our lifestyle, or during all our lifetime. So one day you wake up and you see yourself that you are not happy. It's not important that you have done million of studies. It is not important if you are a mom. It's not important if you have a baby. It's not important if you have finished your school, because it's not age to do all those stuffs. Sometimes we see people that put pressure on females in order, okay, when you are going to be married, when you are going to finish your school, when you are going to do this. No, this is wrong, because it is a clock that is inside each of us. So me, it is a person that I have my own clock and I have my own time in order to finish my study, to achieve my goals. But it's a personal clock. It's not needed to be in pressure by other people, by family, by society, in order to finish the things and to do one thing because you are in the age to do that thing. No, it is age, a personal clock, a personal age to achieve your own goals, to achieve your own things, to finish or to start something in your life. And don't forget something. Every day we have the right as humans, not only as females, but as humans more, to explore ourselves. Discovering yourself is a process that it is an ongoing process. There are people that have discovered new passions even when they are at 50s, at 80s. It's not important what age you are. You have every day, for sure, to work a lot, to study a lot, in order to achieve your own goals. It can be, for example, my goal was to be a doctor, and I have worked a lot to achieve it. But for everyone, it can be another goal. So you wake up with a goal, work hard on it, work smart on it also. Don't let the society and your family and other people that are your circle to put pressure on you, but work. This is not a meaning, because sometimes I see people that, okay, I have no pressure and I have to stay. No, you don't have to stay. You have to work every day, but put goals on yourself, because you are your own leader of yourself. You have to lead yourself to success. You have to lead yourself to empowers, because one it is a one word that says that if you are powerful, if you feel powerful, you will transmit it. And by transmitting, it is even a one other important thing, because the transmission, it is like the energy. If you see someone that is all the time smiling, you will smile too. So if you see yourself putting your empowering yourself and working hard to empower yourself, you will be even motivation for other females. So work hard and don't forget to spread positivity and to put your goals on yourself. But wake up with a goal. Don't let people around you to ruin your dreams and to put pressure on you in order to kill your dreams. Because goals or dreams in themselves are the way that we see each other. But it is one of the most important power and weapon that we have. Our goals are the weapons that we have towards the society. So put your goal, work hard on it, don't let the pressure to ruin it, and go for it, fight for it, because you are going to be your own leader. And by being powerful in all the, and I don't speak only in the economic development, but in all kind of fields, for sure you will be the one that will fight for your own dreams, and even you will be the one that will go for other dreams. And don't forget, join or connection, it is very important. So if you feel powerful, go to help someone else that is feeling weak. Wake up by putting not only a goal for yourself, but even for helping another woman, another female, another girl to power their self. Because by joining together, by spreading such kind of motivation, I'm sure that we will conquer, and we will go in at that point that we'll find a society where we have worked for our rights, and we deserve it. So by working and by fighting, it will be even another good reason to go for it. I have an example of it, because those days, for example, it was very difficult because of the hard work that we have to do. It is a hard work for every doctor, for every nurse, for everyone that is working in the first line of the virus. But imagine someone that has two kids, has a family, has another way of doing all the things. So it is very hard for a girl to be on long shifts, to go there to fight within the first line, to fear for herself, for her kids, for her family, her parents, and everyone else. But I see every day that the real power of the women are not only the big motivation, but even the big spread of positivity. So spread positivity and be together in order to power yourself and to be the best version of yourself.
Indeed, Ms. Desli Shahini had talked a lot about the women rights and multiculturalism. So it's a good thing that we want to, if women want to achieve their goal, there are some restrictions, there are some limitations. They have to face it, and after facing, they can achieve their goal as well. I would like to ask a question from Mr. Nikran that man, if it's a goal and other is opportunity. So what women should prioritize this thing? Like they have the priority of goal, or they have the priority of opportunity. Like in different countries or states, we see if women are given opportunity, or women can achieve the goal, but they are unable to do this task very precise manner or in a good manner. Can you elaborate this thing that is giving opportunity to women is not a good thing?
Yeah, before
Please,
starting
ma'am.
answering this question, I would like to relate one point from Mrs. Shahini that actually shaping identity is important, as she said, but I would like to add that we should learn how to shape the character of the person. That means we should educate people about what's happening outside of their country. Not that it's not always the traditionalist point of view in our countries that is the same everywhere. Lots of people nowadays would say, oh, this theory belongs to the West, I won't study it. Or this theory belongs to the East, I won't accept it. There is not, this is not a point of acceptance or you to say that you are not open minded enough. It's about your cultural education. Like we should educate people who do not have enough information about something for research of a topic. So often people would presume that just the world circulates around their sphere of societal welfare. And that's really limitation. Perhaps while I really could endorse as an opinion during my educational career is that I'm open to learn any language of the world, like Arabic, Urdu, Japanese. I'm ready to learn because I'm curious about these cultures. I do not know anything about the Asian cultures. I wouldn't know lots of things about Pakistan if I didn't meet all of my colleagues at conferences, symposiums, etc., etc. So then, how women get opportunities? Then it is by processing information. When we are educating a person how the information should be spread, then we are going to improve our role as a woman in the society. Getting information is perhaps the most expensive instrument nowadays. For instance, recently I heard from a friend that undergraduate degrees in Scotland are free for nationals and internationals. I didn't know this information 5 years ago when I was joining a bachelor degree. If I knew it, perhaps I would consider that option. Why not? So the more we travel, the more we are open to opportunities. Opportunities sometimes do not arise just because we are searching. Sometimes spontaneously could emerge, like the invitation for this interview. We didn't know about this organization before, and now we know. And thank you for your invitation, because we can give our voice and let the voiceless hear us as well. We have seen that throughout history, there was always a fight from the side of women to get a political and independization. That means being independent politically, that means a strong woman in the society. For instance, a woman in France could vote only in 1944, which is really late. It is in the beginning of the early 20th century. Before that, in the 19th century, there was a declaration of the man and the rights of the citizen. And then woman feminists in France, they said, no, this is a very masculine draft of human rights declaration, So we should draft a female declaration. So Olympe de Gouges was a prominent female leader of the French Revolution as well, when especially there was the March movement of women regarding political independence. And she drafted in a couple of hours the female version of the Human Rights Declaration, that was entitled as Declaration of the Woman and the Female Citizen. And sometimes, even in the preamble, I would like to read a saying that she said, like, "Woman, wake up. The tocsin of reason sounds throughout the universe. Recognize your rights." So this is a very political attack toward the male absolutism that was present, especially from the side of the royalty of Versailles in France. And then she asks a woman as human beings to reason properly and to understand that they are subordinated, subjugated to the rules of the society that were crafted by men exclusively. And then she's actually, in another version of the preamble, she's saying, she's reflecting the roles of the woman in the society. So she says, mothers, daughters, sisters, and representatives of the nation demand to be constituted in a national assembly. So, because before France, in the French monarchy, there were three classes: the first estate, the second estate, and the third estate. The first estate was the royalty, obviously. The second estate, the nobility, the rich people. And the third estate were all the ordinary people who were literally living on the margin of the society. They were forgotten. Like, they were just asked to pay taxes, but they were not given opportunities. So then, with the French Revolution, the period of the Enlightenment starts to be exclusively necessary. We see that principles also in Rousseau's book, The Social Contract. So if the social contract before was just imposed by men, then from the 19th century onwards, we see the role of women that was taken into consideration. So then we see for the first time in history that women were given some opportunity for success. And since the French Revolution till nowadays, we see that there was a legal verification of the terminology man, woman, what they should do, what they shouldn't do. Then we have rules, responsibilities, etc., etc. Then emerged the right of the property for the woman, the right of the woman to gain property. The French Civil Code was drafted by Napoleon in 1904, and exclusively in that code, the primary rights are given for men. Woman was perceived as a citizen of second rank. She should not do anything without getting the permission from her husband, father, or brother. So that means that there was a hierarchical structure of the family in that period, in Europe generally. So that was the main problem. And that consideration of not granting rights to the woman was something normal for that century, but it's not normal for the century that we're living in, when we women, we need to speak, we need to search for our rights, because we are equal as men, and that cannot be denied. It is something exclusive. So perhaps I can say that thanks to the French Revolution, in Europe especially, somehow we could see that laws were codified and modified year by year in every European country, just to give some place to women. And nowadays, from the legal perspective, regarding the rights of the woman, the problem is solved. But what about the practical life? We could often see examples of our society when we travel to another country, when as a woman, they can tell me or tell to another woman, no, because you're a woman, you cannot do this. And who is that person to tell me or to tell to that woman, I cannot do this? Because within the country that they're coming from, this traditionalist point of view exists. So there you see that there is some dependency of evolution. The ideas in Europe of women's rights emerged in the 18th century, but perhaps that ideas practically emerged later a little bit in another country. So by giving the rights to the woman to be politically active, to be socially active, to take decisions as mothers, sisters, and there came the point in history, especially in legal history, where we see that for the children, the inheritance, especially, could be decided by the father or the mother. For instance, recently I heard an example in my country where a man was asking a woman, how is it possible you to be an owner of a car? Only men could be owners of a car. So you see that person coming from perhaps a village or a city, but having that backward idea that women cannot own cars. So in my perspective, that's shocking. I would say, what idea is this? And then the coronavirus emerged. And then we see the role of women. We see that majority of the nurses in the world are women, and they're continuously, day and night, fighting to save the lives of many men. And then we see that throughout history, women, even though they were teachers, nurses, or they were exercising other professions, they were still perceived as citizens of second rank. But in this society that we live nowadays, we cannot say that. We cannot say to the woman, because you're a woman, you cannot do this. A woman can play an instrument, be a singer, be a poet, be a doctor, be a diplomat, any profession, just because of her merits. If she's decisive to make a change, she's going to make a change. So as long as we possess a brain, and our brain is used intellectually, if we have the capacity to think, we all have brains, but we are not having the capacity to think properly. What is right? What is wrong? People are nowadays facing difficulties to say, yes, I made a mistake. They cannot assume their consequences of the negative consequences of their mistake. And as a human beings, we all make mistakes. But people face that difficulties because of their honor or because of their reputation to say, yes, I made a mistake. We see that in the political sphere, we see in the social sphere. Politically, a minister, a president to say sorry for something rare, really rare. But a normal citizen who works hard and whose rights are always undermined for something in the society, for any topic, then we see that actually politicians could be always politically justified for their mistake. But an ordinary citizen would suffer 3 times much more by the legal authorities about the mistake that did. We see this in democratic societies where politicians are saying, even though they might violated the constitution of a country, they would be politically protected by the power of speech. They would create philosophies of how what they did is justified for the people. But an ordinary citizen, a doctor, if they just make a mistake, they can be sued by the political and legal authorities for what they did. And when we see the slowness of legal procedures, how long it takes to solve an affair, then when in the own country of when in the country of that person the legal affair cannot be solved, then that is what we call in law the exhaustion of all domestic remedies. And then we are going to the in front of the European Court of Human Rights, and then all the elements of the affair are examined again, and then takes years. So we see, okay, we have rights, but is everything textual? We cannot always be based on the text. We have rules, but how can we solve the question of women's role in the society by always forgetting to refer that women are equal as men? And then arises the problem of multiculturalism. If I go to a country, I don't know, if I go to another country, and then perhaps people can tell me, you're a woman. You know, you're going to finish your studies, you're going to keep your diploma for your bookshelf, you're going to get married, get kids, and that's it, the end of your life. And no, it's not that the role. Men are fathers, women are mothers, and both have the right to make a career, to be successful, and to be part of that wide sphere of multiculturalism. I am glad I can speak many languages. That means I can
Yes.
connect with you and with many other people in the world because of open-mindedness and wish. And there arises the question of sharing goodness that Mr. Shahini was mentioning. Sharing goodness, sharing positivity, and sharing motivation. Perhaps that will make a change in our society.
Exactly, ma'am. Obviously, you have talked about the revolution, the struggle of women in this pandemic condition, and no doubt, women is equal to the men as well. They have played a main role in dealing this pandemic condition in removing the COVID-19. We can see the best example from DrDesli Shahini. She is a doctor and she has worked with many different like nurses. They have dealt many cases to recover such to remove or to recover patients from COVID-19. So it can be the best example from DrDesli Shahini as well. So, ma'am, DrDesli Shahini, I would like to ask a more question that what should be the best policies that can be made in this modern world that we see many areas, many states, and we can say many countries are there in this modern world where women are not getting equal rights, where women are lagging behind in many their rights like basic right, education, health, and homes as well. So, what can be the best policies that can be made in worldwide that such ignorance in many countries can be eradicated, and after that, a proper solution can be made out? Please, ma'am. Ma'am, your voice is not coming. Please unmute your mic.
Okay. Firstly, it is a very interesting question, but sometimes the change it is very difficult and it comes step by step. It is not something that comes when you wake up and everything is already done. So it is a process, a long process that we need to change and we need to do. So firstly, we have to power ourselves in order to be even more connected, because the global movements help a lot, even in different areas where such kind of movements haven't come yet. It is important to spread such kind of movements in order to protect not only our rights but even to create more differences and more security for ourselves. And secondly, one of the things that I want to suggest is even to share all the things that we do with each other, because sometimes we see that people are very especially women, they prefer not to share the things that happens to them, especially the domestic violence. I have seen a lot of cases, especially now in this time where all the people were home, where there are a lot of women that cannot say and cannot even denounce the domestic violence, and it's like a big mistake. If you are facing something, if you are facing even small things that are related with your rights, please share it, please denounce it, please say it, because this is one of the cases that we need to protect, not only their rights but their life. And in this time is very difficult because all the people were staying home, and they couldn't even say to such kind of things, they couldn't even go outside for different situations. So this is the right time to go and to spread the own way of protecting themselves, their life firstly, and then to continue with the human rights and women's rights as well. And the third and the most important, in my opinion, it's about creating different ways in cooperating with each other, because only by staying with each other, by sharing such kind of things, we can do the big change that we expect from the policies to change. I think that we have to do it, and I think and I believe that only but by being together and by fighting together, we can go to achieve this kind of change that we expect from the other, from the politics, from everything. Only by that way we can create, as even before a lot of movements came from the females. I think that only by being together, by creating together different movements, we can go to achieve the change that we expect, and we are going for sure to have our role as it is, as it should be, as it is needed to be, because it's not a small role even to do a housewife. It is a big role, and if you it is one of the biggest role to raise kids. It's one of the biggest role to make a profession. It is one of the biggest role to do something for yourself, to love yourself, to work for yourself, to work to be greater for yourself. So start doing for yourself, but start doing even with other people. Start sharing such kind of things, because only we and only together we can make such kind of change and such kind of big step in order to have our own rights.
No doubt, Ma'am Desli Shahini has put a very good point that share with us that if we face any problem, any conductivity in any area, we should share with each other, and after that, a great change can be made out in the whole country or in the world. So that's a good point. Coming towards the next question about multiculturalism that I am going to ask from Hristina Crenn. Multiculturalism is a vast topic. If we see, it includes the religion point of view, it includes the political point of view, it includes the living standard of a nation and a country. So if we see, multiculturalism is correlated to the women rights. After we seeing that multiculturalism is correlated to women rights, how we can predict it that it can change the criteria for making the rights for men and women as well. Please, ma'am. Can you proceed on it?
Yes, thank you very much for this question. In my opinion, we should first get, let me use the popular language, get rid of or eradicate the categorization of human rights that exist, men's rights, women's rights, that neutral, by using a neutral gender-based language, we are already trying to improve our image as human beings in front of other civilizations. We are living in an era where we are still solving the problems of the past. What happened in that century, we should solve it nowadays. And that is one of the main reasons why the level of racism has increased nowadays in the world. People are categorized, as you said, multiculturally categorized according to their ethnicity, religion, language, country, territory. But in my opinion, multiculturalism is much beyond these categories. When we include human rights, then we include each one of us. If in the same time we could speak Spanish with our friends from Latin America, if we could speak at the same time Japanese with our friends from Japan, then we are open-minded and we accept multiculturalism. Some people, when you go to live to another country, they will tell you, what you're doing in my country, you're a foreigner, you should come back to your country. So this is the first sign of racism. People's character about other cultures was not shaped. They do not have general education what's happening at the other corner of the planet. So there arises the problem. Multiculturalism, what's multiculturalism according to religion? What's multiculturalism according to culture? Language. For me, multiculturalism is part of the world universalism. If we are having all of these categories, then we are constituting the diversity. And I like diversity, but not everyone likes diversity. So there arises the question of how to perceive other nations and cultures. People do not have enough information because they are not eager to learn more about other cultures. They will say, okay, this country is a Hindu, Buddhist, Muslim, or Christian country. I'm from another religion, I'm not going to live in that country. We see this example nowadays, and this is the wrong opinion of people. It's not the way that the country, how it is divided, that people should not go to live there. That is, in my opinion, the basic problem of the mindset of the society. So there is this divergence of opinions, how woman is perceived in Latin America, how in Japan, how in India, how in Pakistan, how in Turkey. There are movements, there are rights. We're here to raise awareness, but who is going to hear us? That is the point. We're trying to reach the audience, but what is the feedback of the audience? There is the response of this question, I think. How politicians, how legislators or lawmakers will hear the demands of woman or man? Do they have large ear to hear or to solve every problem as much as possible? That is the impossible mission of understanding multiculturalism, because we see that categorization. Why do we need a categorization? We're all equal, in my opinion. We're all going to school to learn how to read and write in our own languages, of course. But that doesn't mean that when we have a visitor from another country that we should refuse or give the right to this person to learn our language or to enroll in our national schools. And we have to be open-minded. This is my opinion, like having tolerance. It's okay to be different. It's okay to be you. It's okay you to say, okay, I do not agree with these provisions of this law. But then there is the question of the common good. What is the common good for this nation? What is the common good for this nation? And there arises the question of nationalism. if there is minority and majority of, if there is a minority or a majority. So who should be prevalent in the society? Who should dominate the state apparatus? Then there we see a breach of multiculturalism. We see some breaks, holes that start to arise because there is a majority and there is a minority. That is what I think.
Well, I hope this discussion is going to one of the informative discussion that we have talked about the women rights and multiculturalism, and my team members as well as other members will get a very fruitful lesson from this discussion, or we can say a panel discussion. So by ending this discussion, I'm just trying to pay a great tribute to Miss Hristina Crenn and Desli Shahini. I think she's having internet issue and she left the conversation, unfortunately. So, ending this conversation, I would like to thanks again Hristina Crenn that she has spared a time for this conversation, and she made a wonderful talk on women rights and multiculturalism. Thank you so much, ma'am. Inshallah, in future, we having a more than welcome session again, and we will be discussing on more topics as well, not women, and on many topics we're going to be discuss the sessions. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Hopefully this talk will raise awareness in this process of crafting peace in the world. Like we are now trying to craft peace, and hopefully this discussion will at least raise awareness that we should make a change. But everything starts if we know how to use our mind properly. The capacities.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, man. Thank you so much. Stay blessed. Allah Hafiz.
All the best. Thank you.